hello, Carl and Anthony. Hey, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley saying hello. What a beautiful afternoon it is. Wow, gorgeous May afternoon. There's a view of the river at the Foley compound. Just want to say hello to you guys and let you know that I'm looking forward to listening to you on A to the K, the podcast. I am not yet exposed to much in the world of podcasting, but I think I'm going to start. I hear great things about you guys. I appreciate you being fans. I'm going to go out on a limb and just guess that you guys are big wrestling fans. So I'm going to thank you for your support over the years.
So
have a nice day.
Everything, Carl. We'll talk about this week in wrestling. We'll talk about Raw. We'll talk about NXT, Dynamite, SmackDown, NXT again. Why not? So would you like to kick us off with the Raw last week's Raw, not this week's Raw, because we haven't seen this week's Raw yet. Do you want to talk about last week's Raw, Carl?
Let's talk about last week's Raw. I was impressed on last week's that we managed to get it to half an hour. So I'm going to see for a 3-hour show whether we can get there again. That's my aim.
I think we can. If
we get under it, then happy days. So this week, or last week, whatever week, the one we're talking about. It started off with, the Monday Night Messiah himself, Seth Rollins, coming out to wave goodbye to Rey Mysterio. So, obviously Rey Mysterio's too humble to come out and call himself a legend. So he's here to do it on his behalf as the true locker room leader. I actually quite like this gimmick. He's a bellend, but I like it.
I really enjoy Seth. I will admit. I think some things were oddly booked, like the disheveled, non-talking Seth happened to be what they were using when Becky announced she was
that was my
deliberate
or
not. That was funny as fuck. But like things like that, where you're like, so now I'm confused. Is he distraught over the match that he lost, or is he distraught over the pregnancy thing? But no, I think this is a good heel run for him. I think he plays the character really well, and we've seen it sort of done before. Like I mentioned, CM Punk with the Straight Edge Society was kind of a similar thing, but arguably I'd say Seth's doing it better.
Yeah, I think that this is definitely the best character work he's done. He's always going to be, my favorite Seth is always going to be Beast Slayer Seth, where he beat Brock Lesnar, whether it was cashing the Money in the Bank or whether it was the most.
Yeah, to be fair, no one will ever forget the Money in the Bank thing. So you're quite right there. But
that's it.
Like you say, character work wise, yeah, this is some of the best he's done.
Well, that's it, because, he's normally a face as well, so for him to be a heel and not just be like a protege of Triple H or whatever, like this is actually some decent stuff. So I think he's doing well to get it over. But yeah, he basically comes out and he's saying Rey Mysterio is too humble, blah, blah, blah. So, he's being the sacrifice for the greater good of Raw. And when the time comes, he'll be honoured to be the one that personally inducts him into the Hall of Fame. And then obviously Emo Aleister Black comes out because he's not happy with it, because he's not happy with anything. And then he clears the ring.
He wants to beat up fight. Murphy, probably.
Well, you think that, but he's actually having a match with Seth. So,
okay. Makes a change.
So we go to commercial, we come back, and it is that match. It's Rollins versus Aleister Black. And it's one of them, Seth's got the number advantage. Murphy, in theory, on the outside, causing a number of distractions as the match goes on. There was one point where Aleister Black's on the outside. It looks like they're about to, gang up on him and start beating him down. But then who comes to his rescue? Umberto, obviously, because why not?
They're best friends, and we totally knew about that.
Exactly. Preppy Mexican, do-gooder and, emo, death metal, vampire, Aleister Black. It's a friendship that we can all see and get behind. But yeah, Umberto comes out with a steel chair in hand, obviously with his entrance music, because no one can ever just come out anymore. They have to have their entrance music played.
Yeah, it just makes sense, doesn't it? Might as well signpost you coming.
Exactly right. I'm surprised they don't actually get the announcers to go, "This is Umberto," for any of you casual fans who don't watch. So yeah, he comes out to even the odds. But yeah, so the match carries on. Umberto and Murphy are kind of having a little bit of fight on the outside. Theory getting involved as well. And then Seth basically attempts to use that distraction on the outside to get a roll-up pin on Black, but he then ends up reversing it and rolls up Rollins for the win. So I thought it was a bit weird, to be fair, because it wasn't like it was a true distraction that led Rollins to try and capitalise. It was just stuff was happening on the outside, and he was like, okay, I'm going to try and roll them up now. And it just, I don't know, it felt a bit silly.
Yeah, I think they've been... one of my biggest complaints about WWE this week completely is like the weird screwy finishes they keep doing with matches.
Yeah. nothing ever just happens, and it's like, you know what I mean. There's always
Sadly,
something.
Sadly, I don't think I've seen a straight match in ages. I'll be honest.
Yeah, and then after the match, more shenanigans ensue because after that, there's a whole beat down by the bad guys after the match. Even though Seth lost, it was like those messiahs, fucking whatever the fuck they're called. I don't know what they're called.
Disciples.
Those guys, disciples, and the Messiah are getting the upper hand. So okay, and then we go to our other Mexican, Angel Garza, who's backstage with Zelina Vega, getting interviewed, and Zelina's like, well, Owens agreed to the match last week, so I don't know what he's complaining about. And then Garza shushes him, basically takes over the interview and starts flirting with Charlie Caruso once more, as he does, because he's a flirt. That is his gimmick. They basically then say that they think that his win over Owens was triumphant. He saw what he wanted, he took it, and he says if anyone's upset with his actions, they must never want something as bad as him, and gives Caruso like the sex eyes, and then brings up a rose and gives her that. And then Selena Vega comes over and rips the rose into pieces because, okay.
So I'm a bit perplexed where they're going with this, because Selena displayed a level of jealousy maybe where she took the rose and teared it up. So like, I'm not quite sure what that is because they're purely business by all accounts. But then WWE have had an odd bit of success with Mandy Rose and Otis, so they're going to try and push a bit of a romance between Garza and Caruso. What is it? I mean, his ladies' man gimmick is one thing, but they keep concentrating on him in Caruso now. So I'm like, are you going anywhere with this or what?
Yeah, it feels like it's already been overplayed and hasn't even got started yet. I think it would make sense if he was flirting with another like superstar or another like valet, and Zelina could have like a match with him or something. But it's a backstage interview, so it's not actually going to go anywhere. And
That's
I don't
the
even
thing.
think
And it's his only option though, Carl. I mean, he's that much of a sex pest that they've had to put fucking barriers up around the audience.
Well, that's it. He was
Can't
trying
get
to
at no one now.
He was trying to shag a camera woman last time. We saw him.
You've got
so.
now. Put the perspex glass up. He's not getting in anyone.
Well, exactly. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't think they're trying to make Zelina go after him or anything.
Just
I don't
seemed
really
odd
think
that
they
she
know where
she
it's
has
going.
an issue with the romance. Like, why do you care? Like,
I think I can only assume it's like because she thinks he's being distracted by her or something, and instead
which
of
it makes sense if she was anywhere near the ring when he was losing.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I don't know. It seems a strange one.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I just wanted to join. It's just 30 minutes of barking at each other.
Well, exactly. No, normally I mute it, but I muted it before then I started talking. I was like, oh shit, I'm still on mute. So I'm just gonna let all our listeners hear me go.
That's what I do. They've been hearing the subtle clank of ice cubes in a whiskey glass most of the night, so that's fine.
Well, that's it. So then, just when we thought the whole Zelina thing was enough, we then get a Lana thing because that's still happening. And she basically says that MVP is trying to use Bobby Lashley to revive his own washed-up career. And then MVP's like, that's not true. But if it was, wouldn't that make two of them? Oh, shit. Sick burn.
Again, yes.
Yeah.
We're all using Bobby Lashley.
Exactly. So, okay, fair enough. We then get another interview. Like, how many interviews in a row, please? But we then get another interview. And this time it is Apollo, who says that it's surreal to be the champion. And tonight he's picking his opponent. And it's Kevin Owens. Because, okay, why would you pick Kevin Owens? But, sad.
Because you're a lunatic.
You're going to get a US title match? I think this kind of reeks of the whole goody two-shoes Daniel Bryan thing that's happening at the minute where he's like, I'm a fighting champion. I'm going to pick any outcomer.
Here's the thing, right? And I am not going to pretend like AEW are the ones who invented this, right? So anyone who wants to get snarky about it, I'm well aware that John Cena done the Invitational, and it's probably been done before John, but I'm well aware that John Cena done the Open Challenges, right? But I think it's funny that they're doing this for both the IC and the US title right at the point we've just come off the TNT tournament and Cody's like, yeah, I'm going to defend this title every week. Just seems like they're like, yeah, we're going to do the same.
What's it? Like, it's not like the US title is like a television title. It's the forgotten about title. It's literally like, there was a point where
he was suspended for like, what, a month, Andrade, with the title and no one cared.
Yeah, like I think there was a point where we didn't even know who had the belt. That's how little focus.
I think when we were talking about Rumble, we weren't sure who the champ was actually.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It seems like a bit. I want to get behind Apollo, to be fair, because I feel like he's got a good opportunity to kind of take this in his stride. But Like Kevin Owens, man, fucking hell, they brought him back for what? Like he's
Here's
gone
the
straight
thing, though,
into
Carl.
like.
I don't know how you feel about it, but before, and I'll let you talk about the match, but before the match changed, I was loving it. I thought it was a really good match between the two of them. I thought they were both working incredibly well together, and I was on board for it, regardless of who won. But I'll let you talk about the match. But I was loving this initially. I was a bit dubious about the decision, and then when the match started, I was like, actually, these two are really good together. They got some good chemistry here.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're both fantastic athletes. They're both really good performers, and it was one of them where it came as a shock, but at the same time, I was down to watch it. And then only then could you get ruined by the fact that it then turns into a fucking tag team match because Andrade and Garza come down and start fucking beating up on them. So again, just too many shenanigans. Why can't anyone just have a match that finishes in a clean way and it's not some form of fucking run-in or distraction or cheated win or something? Just have a match. It's cool. Just do it. It's what you do. It's wrestling.
Exactly.
But, so that happens. And interestingly, Apollo goes clean over Andrade. I'm like, what happened to Andrade? Like, I know he's had some violations and stuff, but he was the golden boy. And I feel like since he's come back off that violation, regardless of him shagging Charlotte, he's like fell out of favor. It's like, it seems like Angel Garza gets more.
Well, that's the thing. Angel seems to be the bigger point on the show for them now, to the point that the concentration we had for Selena was the that backstage segment with Angel Garza, and he took the. I don't want to discredit Apollo, but it seems odd that someone who was that high up there has taken the loss clean, which it's not often we see a fucking loss clean. Let's face it, they didn't want to give Apollo. They didn't want Apollo to lose, but they didn't want him to go clean over Kevin Owens. So halfway through the match, it turned into a fucking tag match.
Exactly.
So they do protect people, but they're not protecting Andrade no more.
Yeah, it's a massive fall from grace for him. I don't know where he's going to go from here now, to be fair, but madness.
Yeah, developmental.
So then we go on to the Fuck My Life segment of the week, which is the fucking Viking Raiders and the Street Profits. This time,
how good
they go bowling.
That was great, wasn't it?
You can't be serious this time, surely.
I fucking love it. I'm loving the budding friendship between the four of them. It's brilliant.
No, you're not. Really? Really?
It doesn't bother me. I'm totally fine with it.
I hate it. I hate it so much. It's like the way
it
goes on for like 10 minutes as well.
I'm prepared for them. Like, I think what you need to do, Carl, is just let go of the Viking Raiders now. They're goofy now. They're not a serious team anymore. Let it go.
It's not even that.
Embrace the fact that they're goofy as fuck, and you'll enjoy it.
It's the Street Profits as well. They're not funny.
They never have been.
Exactly. I don't understand why I've got to put up with these on my screen for like fucking 10-15 minutes every week doing just pointless shit. Like,
You've got 3 hours. Why not?
I'm not over. This is not over with me, not at all. So
I'm still all right. I'm not like, this isn't like, wow, this is the best thing since sliced bread, but I'm fine. It works for me. I'd sooner that than see them on Raw.
The thing is, though, it's not even original. It's the same shit every week. It's like, oh, they start off one thing and then someone gets angry at them, and then, oh, one of the Viking Raiders is cute. Oh, these Street Profits are going to be like awesome because they're awesome at all things, but they're not actually awesome. It's like, fucking, this shite. It's the same thing, just with different sports. Just fuck it off. Just have a match. I'm done. Fuck it off now. So yeah, no more talk about that. It's shite. The end. We then get Nikki Cross going up against Billie Kay. Do you know what? I haven't got too much to say about this, but I thought it was really decent. I thought Billie Kay's kind of come a long way, really, versus what I remember her as on the Iconics. Seems to be busting out quite a different kind of moveset and stuff. I feel like she's been really working on the ring game.
Yeah, it is good to see. And whilst I'm not for them breaking up tag teams, especially not right now when you really need women's tag teams because you've decided to have fucking women's tag teams belts and hardly any women's tag teams. But it's nice to see her in a bit of singles competition and display what she's capable of. I think this is what WWE need to get their heads around, is the fact that you can have tag teams and then they can still have singles matches. It's fine.
They can.
You don't need to break them up or fuck about
in
like
a triple threat and 4 tag titles, because that doesn't make any fucking sense.
That never makes any fucking sense. But like, there's no reason that because the women's roster isn't big enough to hold tag titles. So you can't have like this is your tag team and they don't do anything else. They need to be singles competitors as well. So I think it's good to see that she's got the chops, as it were.
Yeah, defo. I thought I actually lolled at one point. She's ripped off the people's elbow by doing the iconic stance and then doing the elbow, which I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, interestingly, that Nikki Cross actually took the loss here again, and I feel like
not great for Nikki that, because I was hoping they were going to give her, because they give her a bit more of a show in the Kairi Sane Asuka match. I was hoping they were going to give her a bit more of a showing in that sense, that she's a legit competitor on her own right.
Well, that's it. Like, I feel like in that Mania match, she kind of stood out as like, okay, she's actually pretty decent here, and I feel like she's been on like a losing skid ever since, and it's always her who takes the losses. So
sadly, yeah, I'd agree with you on that.
But yeah, I thought it was fine for what it was. The next one, Anthony, was a Drew McIntyre promo, and all I've got to say is they're fucking thieves.
I know. We've mentioned it a few weeks now. We mentioned it publicly on a podcast for easily three or so weeks now. We've been mentioning this slogan.
That's it, right? You can go back, you can listen to this, right? They're clearly listening to us, and they're clearly stealing our ideas.
Fucking clearly, Carl.
You know what I mean? Like, it's fine, steal them, but get us involved. Don't just steal them and not like recognize us for.
And weirdly, you could have made a nicer looking shirt. I'll be honest. The shirt, as much as the slogan's good, because obviously, you could have made a nicer shirt than that, man. They could have asked you to design something. Jeez.
It's like, we're here. Anthony will bring the witty banter, and I'll make it look pretty. Like dream team, right? But Drew McIntyre was there, debuting his brand new shirt. Talk less, Claymore. And, fair play. We've had Talk Less Claymore. We've had Drink Less Claymore. We've had a few different ones. But ultimately, it's the same fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
And we definitely have said Talk Less Claymore before. So you're just stealing it now. You know what I mean?
Bastards.
Fuming. So we're going to sue, basically, is what we're saying. We are going to sue. But yeah, I thought the promo itself was okay. He basically says, he doesn't back down from any challenge. He's going to fight anyone. Line them all up, and one by one, they can all get a ticket to Claymore Country.
See, for me, this problem isn't with Drew. This is with 3 hours, because they've got 3 hours and they need to fill it. They don't need to concentrate on Drew every week. We know he's having the match. He's having a match against Bobby Sound. They don't need to do this every single fucking week. But because they've got the space to do it, they do it. So now he's coming out and just going over the same old shite.
I know. I'm worried a bit, to be fair, because I feel like after he won the belt, he did such a fantastic job of just being himself and cutting his own promos and being a really believable, marketable champion. And now he's kind of just like, oh, well, okay, Drew, you're the champ. We need you to fill, a fucking 5-minute slot. Yeah. It's like, okay, I haven't got anything to say. Like, oh, well, just use your catchphrases.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like someone's back there going, just vamp. Just half an hour out of it, Drew. Come on.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's one. I don't want to be unfair to Drew, because again, like you said, I don't feel like it's his fault.
I think he's an incredible talent. I just think, especially because the roster's fairly thin at the moment still, anyway. But they're struggling with the 3 hours, and they're relying on look at every single week, right? We get. I could be wrong about this week actually, but every single week we seem to get 2 segments where it's like, let's do the VIP lounge and moments of bliss. It's like this, like tonight's, without digressing and confusing, tonight we're getting the Peep Show and the MVP lounge on the same night, because they've not got 3 hours worth of content.
No,
they never did anyway.
Like, it is crazy that this is still going 3 hours every week. It just doesn't need it at all. They need to realize that it's just like they would get like a better reaction, I think, if they had a 2-hour Raw and then had one of these like 24 documentaries or like the Last Ride episodes or something.
See, this is the funny thing. They've got tons of stuff that's exclusively to the WWE network that they go, well, let's pull the exclusivity away. Let's give that to the network that we're letting down because we're dropping that hour, and give something to the fans.
Yeah. I feel like that's going to put them in much better stead than putting on a 3-hour show that feels forced. And
I would sooner watch the Undertaker thing. Definitely.
That's it. And it's still them, and it's still their time slot. So just
exactly, they're still providing WWE content, yeah.
But yeah, anyway,
crazy stuff.
We then get an update from Rey Mysterio. So,
I really didn't like this. Sorry, go on. You can talk. I know where they're going, and I don't want them to go there now.
So he says he's not sure if he's got to retire. He's not sure it's up to him. You know, he may never be
No, I think
cleared.
it's up to Eddie.
He's got to ask Eddie. He's got to, he's got to see whether he can bring back that Latino heat. But yeah, he basically says, eye injuries can be impossible to come back from. Can they? Based on
Okay.
what? I mean,
like, I don't want to spoil anything, guys, but Keith Lee got stabbed in the eye this week.
Exactly. He was fine, by Takeover.
He still attended Takeover.
So, yeah, interesting. And then, obviously, Dominic interrupts because you can't have anything with Rey Mysterio without his little fucking son getting involved anymore. But then he basically goes, someone in this family's got to do something about it. So what are we meant to believe? It's you, Dominic? Okay.
Because this is the fear. I think I mentioned this in the Ringside Report, and you said no, he surely will go to NXT. This is a big fucking fuck you to a lot of NXT talent if they put Dominic straight in that fucking picture against Rollins.
Is he even training properly and stuff? Like, I don't really know anything about it.
I didn't think he was training with WWE. He's training. He is training properly. But I don't think it's like in developmental with WWE or anything. I think he's just training with some sort of lucha company. Forgive the lack of knowledge, because I've seen something on him training before, some videos or something they put on social media. So he's definitely doing some sort of wrestling training. But even so, you don't put a lad who's never really done any professional wrestling at all and is only just really doing his training against Seth Rollins. And I feel like that's where they're fucking going with it.
Sure, I mean, fucking hell, if they do that, it's like, how? With all the talent they've got, they've relegated fucking Cedric Alexander and fucking Ricochet and people like that, onto a tag team that haven't even been featured the last couple of weeks, and you've got fucking Dominic potentially going to be in a match. Like, fuck off, like, really?
Yeah.
But
it can't. If it does happen, I'm going to be fucking raging.
Yeah, same.
I've nothing, and I've nothing against Dominic being a wrestler. It's quite interesting, that next generation, but he needs to do he needs to follow the path that everyone else does. He needs to go onto the Performance Center. He needs to go onto NXT. He needs to build himself up and have some matches before ending up in this practically main event scene.
Yeah, I just think I don't want to see it. Like, I can't think of anything worse than to see Dominic involved in anything right now. But
yeah, and don't get me wrong, we're getting slightly ahead of ourselves, but that video, that bit was quite clear that it's going to be Dominic trying to do something about it. Whether Ray ends up going, no, I'll do it, or whatever.
It seems like that's where they're
going.
Because Ray's basically saying, like, oh, he's a man of forgiveness, but he's never going to forgive him for what he's put his family through. And then he tries to finish the interview and get Dominic to leave, but then Dominic hangs around and goes, as they say, Mr. Messiah, you're a fan of a fucking saying or whatever, so, an eye for an eye. So, yeah, fucking hell. I hope not, but it seems like that's where they're going. But just when you thought promos couldn't get any worse, Nia Jax. I'm not sure what's worse, actually, her, in-ring ability or her promo ability, but she comes out and cuts a promo. She's been repeatedly attacked, apparently, by Asuka and Kairi, and once again, Asuka didn't earn that title. She was gifted it because of hormones. Really?
This really, really, really fucking bugs me, right? I don't get why it bugs me so much, but the fact that it's like, she's not been given it. It was quite clearly said by Becky that the stipulation for the Money in the Bank was for the title. Anyone who won the Money in the Bank would have won the title. She hasn't come out and gone, I love you, Asuka, here's a belt. Bullshit. Like, if Nia had won the Money in the Bank, which she was able to do, she was in the match, then she'd have been the champion right now. I don't get why it's even being suggested or perceived that there's a misunderstanding from Nia that she believes she was gifted it. She was never gifted it. She fought in a match and won the belt like every fucker else does.
Exactly. It's fucking pointless. And the fact that makes this worse is she's like, you were gifted it because of hormones. Like, I hate this Nia Jax character. She is like the fucking, the head cheerleader kind of character who's like, oh, you're dead. And it's like, really? Like, Nia Jax is playing that character? She should just be a fucking monster heel who doesn't take any shit and just fucking...
Yeah, the worst thing they've done with her is give her a microphone.
Yeah, geez, it's not helping her at all.
She's getting nothing but that X-Pac heat, Carl.
God.
Especially because she's legit injuring people. That doesn't help
her.
Well,
exactly, right? So we then... she basically ends up going into the match with Kairi and basically nearly kills her because...
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned about that botch anyway, didn't we? But this is the match that the infamous botch happened on when she busted her open.
Exactly. So, you know, we knew that this had happened in advance a couple of weeks ago because this was obviously taped, but we didn't actually get to see it. Whereas we were wondering how they're going to handle it, whether they're going to cut away, not show it at all. They did actually show it. They did a good job from an editing standpoint. We didn't actually see her busted open, but we got to see the bump itself. And, you know, people are coming out to defend Nia and saying like, oh, it wasn't her fault and stuff like that. And fair dues, you look at the steps, they weren't on properly, and there was a bit of a, you know, the bit where the fucking top of the first step and the bottom of the second step meets was kind of misaligned. So obviously that's a very pointy target, but it's still Nia's fault because if you look, she just actually launches her into it, and it's like you realise you're meant to just kind of give her a little push, and she's meant to like throw herself into it, right?
But you see, I think this is the problem. I think Nia's mentality is it's the person taking the bump who deals with it. So she'll throw and just leave them to it. I think that's exactly what happened with the buckle bomb as well.
Yeah, 100%. She just hasn't got the respect. I've said this before, week on week. Yeah. She's just an absolute fucking fraud, and I just don't want to.
And the most nerve-wracking match on Backlash this Sunday is going to be Nia's match because none of us are sure what she's going to do. Like 100%. From a genuine point of view, will she injure someone? Luckily, they're already taped and we haven't heard any rumours, so that's good.
Yeah. it's like the only piece of reassurance in it is that we haven't heard that anyone's died.
If it had been live, we'd all been biting our fucking nails.
Oh god, yeah. It baffles me that she's getting this opportunity when she's known to be an unsafe worker. Like, what have you got to do to fucking?
Even if they give her the opportunity first time she come back, and then she's had them couple of botches, and they go, all right, let's pull the brakes on that. But no, let's go ahead. Let's keep pushing forward until she hits someone properly.
Yeah,
not good.
Not good at all. But you know what is good? We've got a brand new 24/7 champion because R-Truth, posing as a gardener, sneaks up on Gronk and rolls him up and pins him to get the 24/7 title back. Which, as we know, Gronk has left WWE after his short stint and gone back to play
very
NFL.
Short stint.
So, good riddance, mate. You did.
Yeah.
I'll never forget your weird little dance.
We already had Mojo, so I didn't really need the Gronk.
Well, exactly.
I was actually quite surprised Mojo weren't the one who took the title. I'm surprised they gave it back to R-Truth, but I think they're done with Mojo now. His mate's not with them.
Yeah, I mean, I think he showed up on SmackDown, didn't he, after a while, which I thought was interesting timing, but I don't think he's going to go anywhere. So
yeah, I'm going to moan about that as well.
So then we got a promo from Edge. So fucking hell, the fucking best match ever, shite. But he's like, you know, in the past he hung with Taker, with Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, but that was in the past. He doesn't know if he can hang anymore. And then we cut to Orton, and he goes, you know, Ric Flair's the best that's ever done it, but in Ric's opinion, it's Orton who's the best that ever's done it. So, you know, okay. He then basically calls out Edge, who was like, Orton was handed everything and he's never really had any respect for the business, just doing it for the paycheck, yada, yada, yada. Orton's like, well, yeah, you're right. He's been phoning it in for 20 years and he's achieved more than anyone, which I actually thought was pretty funny. But, yeah, I don't...
Lean into it.
The thing that bothers me about this feud is just the fact they've billed it as best match ever. Because if it was just they're going to have a wrestling match or it was just a follow-up from the match they had at WrestleMania, cool. But the fact they're building it up as the best fucking wrestling match ever, straight away, I've got a negative opinion about it because...
Yeah, it's like you've already overplayed your hand here.
Yeah.
We know it's not going to be.
I don't get it. And again, like they keep using this branding of the best match ever for Backlash, but showing it on every fucking match card going.
Yeah, it's like just in the middle of the card. Yeah. And you know what? Like, it's only a minor bugbear, but they've started using the song from The Greatest Showman for it as well. Yeah, have you noticed that?
I haven't.
Every time they show the greatest match ever, it's like, this is the greatest show. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, jeez. Fucking hell.
Just cringe, really.
Yeah, so I'm not... I mean, I'm looking... It's going to be one of the best matches on the card, but, to call it the best match ever, fuck that. Like, no chance at all. So straight away, I'm probably going to rate it quite negatively just for that reason alone, so apologies.
I'm cool with that.
But yeah, then we get Charlotte versus Asuka, and this was a really good match, absolutely great match between the two of them. It was full of back and forth, near fall, submission attempts and everything, but unfortunately, you can never get anything, just, no shenanigans, can you? So what we actually get is halfway through the match, Asuka's music starts playing. So Asuka's like, well, what's happening? And Nia Jax is stood there with one of the little Japanese masks on, and she takes it off and reveals the same kind of face makeup that Asuka wears. And then that leads to Asuka getting counted out, because apparently it takes 10 seconds for someone to show themselves in a mask. And then she comes down and absolutely fucking steamrolls Asuka. And then that's it.
But luckily,
Okay.
we're going to get this match again tonight. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hey.
It's one of them. Is it like, are we going to get a resolution, or is this going to be more Nia shenanigans? Probably fucking Charlotte will get added to the match at Backlash, and that'll be a triple threat. Because why not?
Yeah, maybe. I'll never rule that out, I'll be honest.
And then the main event of the evening, straight from fucking 2003 or something, is Drew McIntyre versus MVP. Because that's a match you want to see.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering why we hadn't seen this already.
Yeah. So Lashley accompanies him to the ring, and as the match is going to start, Lana basically comes down, and basically because she's not getting involved in Bobby's match, it's MVP's match, she can be there at ringside. So okay, that might have been worthwhile if she'd had any fucking involvement in the slightest in the whole match.
So you go,
fuck all.
Oh yeah, Lana's still there. Okay.
She just stood there. She had added nothing. So what's the point? Why be there?
Didn't even betray him, which you think she might have done.
Yeah, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, basically Drew McIntyre beat the shit out of MVP for most of the match. Lashley kind of distracted him a couple of times. So MVP did get a bit of offense in, but Claymore win for Drew. And then again, another random fucking decision, which I know we'll come on to for SmackDown, with just random decisions that make no sense. But this match, like after the match, Lashley jumps in and puts him in the half Nelson, and it just goes off air.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, that. I think they're trying to build suspense over who could win, but like weird screwy finish again, another screwy finish.
It just seemed like they'd overran the time. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, hang on, this was taped. Like,
but you see, this is the thing where it's like it feels like they overran the time, and that's something you might see on a live show, but we know it's not live, so they've deliberately booked it this way, so we're meant to be in suspense.
Yeah. So I don't know whether on tonight's show they're going to show what actually happened.
They just went cut.
Yeah, it was actually the 7th or 8th take that Kevin Dunn had been like asking them to do.
Yeah.
So
more Nelson's.
Decided, yeah, you can't do it right, so we're just going to fade to black. Okay.
And Alistair comes out like,
me? Oh, not me. Okay, I'll just go back and make coffee. So yeah, so that was Raw. 2 out of 5, not the best.
Yeah, I'm with you on it too. Not great. Couple of little bits. Weak.